Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Pop Review. I'm Sean.
I'm Alex.
I'm Robert.
And I'm Fabian.
Yeah, and he's new, and he's joining us today because he is our resident Marvel expert. Okay, well, you guys can both have that title. Jeez, oh my gosh, off to a bad start already.
And I know next to nothing.
And Robert and I are just, we're just the comedic relief. So anyway, we're doing the review for Avengers Infinity War. So we have a lot to talk about, so let's get started.
More like infinity plot lines in this movie.
More like infinity characters.
I think,
and that's a good thing.
I think before we begin, let's just stress to everybody watching, this is a spoiler review. So if you're watching this, please have watched the movie because we're going to go really in depth in everything that is considered a spoiler, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody because I don't want to be that guy. None of us do. So if you've watched it, continue watching it. If you haven't, please stop because the spoilers are going to be
or just
Fast
watch
and Furious.
this instead of watching the movie, and then you can feel like you watched the movie.
Go watch the movie.
But you won't have to go through all of the emotional turmoil.
This video is attached to the back of a car. Because it's a spoiler review.
I got it right away. I hated it though. I hated it so much.
I think the best thing to do is let's just go around and say like initial thoughts going out of it. So as of this taping, I've seen it twice.
Let's talk about... I've seen it once.
Once for now.
Okay.
So let's talk about what our expectations were and then how we walked out of the theater.
Okay.
Okay, I'll start. So my expectations were not high. If you've been watching the channel, as you know, I really don't follow the MCU that closely. I think maybe in the last 10 years I've seen a little over half maybe of the films that came out. I think I've only seen the first Captain America. I don't think I don't even know if I saw the last Avengers. Oh yeah, we were talking about how we went to the drive-in to watch Civil War, and I completely forgot about that because I didn't like it.
An Avengers movie, which is,
Yeah.
It's only Avengers,
I didn't even
Avengers,
remember that I saw it. So anyway, I went in, no expectations, and I came out actually really liking it. And I thought it was really good. There were some things that I didn't like, of course, but my overall impression was that I was pleased. So...
Yeah, along those lines, I went into it. I've seen every movie except for Ant-Man, especially because I heard that it's kind of inconsequential to the overall plot. Going into this one, I expected it to be more of a bloated version of Civil War, which I felt like I didn't care about anything that was happening while watching Civil War. It was the complete opposite. I never thought a film as busy or with so many plot threads and characters could actually be that engaging.
Yeah,
but we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was really excited for it. I've been waiting for it for years and years and years, and just going through like the internet and seeing all these theories that were coming out, it was just really exciting. So
your bar was set high for you.
It was.
And then when you walked out of the theater, were you expectations were met or?
Yeah, I think it were.
So exactly. You're like, this is exactly what I expected?
No, I think it was a lot better than that.
Hey, that's good. Congratulations.
I would confer with that because I had high expectations too because seeing Captain America Winter Soldier that the Russo brothers did and then seeing Civil War and them handling as of that time a lot of characters, I'm like, are they going to be able to make it work? Yeah. And they did. So then seeing this one, I knew it was going to be good. But because of movies in general, you think like, a lot of characters. Is everybody going to get enough screen time? Is everybody going to have something worthwhile to do? And they were able to do that. Not as much as I would have liked, but if I walked in here, I actually ended up here. Because I thought, I'll be honest, I was a little worried about that, considering there's 65 characters.
Yeah,
but
we talked about that
they made it work.
Yeah.
They made it work, and the thing that I really appreciated about this movie, that we got to learn a lot more about Thanos. If you had a thought about him before this movie, you feel completely different about him, whether you liked him or you didn't, or however you thought they handled him. You got a completely different outcome of him walking out of the movie, and that's what I was really hoping for.
Well, this is Thanos' movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Even confirmed to the very end where it says Thanos will return instead of the Avengers will return, as they usually say. So, it was his movie.
And the fact that the Russo brothers said, that's his movie, I was like, interesting. I wonder how that's going to play. And it was, and I'm glad that it was.
Yeah, and we've talked about this so many times on this channel. If you've been watching, you know this about me. I love villains that have more to them than just evil for the sake of evil.
Yes.
And so I really appreciate it when they take the time to craft a villain in a way that's more human than one might expect, because it actually brings out the best in all the other characters, and then you actually have a good story instead of just like, oh, we're fighting against evil because evil's bad, and it's like, that's boring. But no, Thanos, we got like some really interesting insights into how his mind works, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I appreciated that.
Like he is a true definition of he doesn't think he's the villain. He thinks everybody else is the villain.
Yeah.
Because he thinks what he's doing is good. Like, well, you know, there's so many. The universe can only be so finite. Like, I have to get rid of half of it so that it can prosper and grow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, from his point of view, he thinks what he's doing is a good thing.
Yeah.
And I think those are the best villains. The villains that don't think that they're the villain.
Yeah.
The hero is the villain because you're trying to stop me from doing what I think is a good thing.
Right. Yeah. So that worked for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really interesting, just sort of the way that he won. You know?
Yeah.
And you don't actually see that very
No.
often. You know, there are some times where prior to a sequel, you know, things look a little dark, but he like 100% won.
Yep.
Like he did it.
He did exactly what he set out to do.
Yeah,
He's like,
and-
I'm gonna do this myself. I'm gonna get all the gems, and I'm gonna snap, and then half of them is gone.
Yeah.
And then he did exactly. He's like, hey, afterwards, I'm just gonna relax, and then just look over the galaxy and smile. And he did exactly what he set out to do.
And watching this film, we're so conditioned that the good guys always win that I'm just sitting there like, how they gonna get out of this? How are they gonna win? What's gonna happen? And like as the movie went on, I'm like, oh my god, they're not gonna win.
not winning.
You know, and so that's just a really nice surprise because these movies get so tired sometimes with these plots. You know, everybody,
Yeah.
of course, the hero comes out on top every single time, but not this time.
No.
So who's the bigger villain? Thanos or Darth Vader?
Kevin Feige.
Thanos, maybe? Yeah.
Well, because Darth never really won. He never won.
Empire Strikes Back.
Well,
But he didn't destroy half the
he
universe.
didn't really.
Not yet.
If you consider winning, like taking out Han and cutting off Luke's hand.
Yeah, but Luke got a better hand out of that, so, I mean, he won, right? So, anyway.
Technically,
Yeah.
no, yeah. If you're really comparing, like, I'd say Thanos is probably the more evil, because like his whole existence has come to the conclusion of wiping out half the universe for his perceived like perfect universe. Whereas Vader in New Hope is more of like a higher ranking bounty hunter in many ways, just like set out to do duties that's given to him by
Yeah,
Moff Tarkin.
Thanos is more of like a terrorist because he's
Yeah.
got like more of a...
Like an ideology. That
Yeah,
he's
an
following.
ideology.
Yeah. Whereas in Empire, like Vader is just obsessed with Luke Skywalker, and like he's like just scorched earth just to get Luke.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say Thanos. Yeah, definitely more pure evil.
Also, definitely like a bigger chin, so...
Well, I mean, that chin is huge.
And, you know, there's a direct correlation between chin size and level of evil.
Yeah.
So...
I read that somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not
that's true.
wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Yeah,
right
look
now.
at Aaron Eckhart playing Two-Face. I mean,
Yeah,
that is one
massive
butt
chin.
chin.
Yeah, and Thanos has several butt chins.
Oh, he's
A lot of cracks.
Just a lot of cracks.
There's a lot of cracks in there.
So, anyway.
Well, let's talk about the first 10 minutes.
Okay.
So, because
wow,
the
yeah.
Russos said that we're gonna get a good sense of Thanos right away, and they didn't lie. So
Beats
the movie
shit
just
out of Hulk.
well, the movie even starts off. They don't even show us him getting the power stone.
No.
That already happened. Like
Yeah.
almost
We jumped right into it.
I mean, the way they set up is like you guys don't even want to see what he did to end like to the Nova Corps. You don't want to see it, so we're not even gonna show it to you. He's already got it. He already wrecked shop with that whole with the Asgardian ship. Like everybody's laid out, even though I think Valkyrie got away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
I think Valkyrie
They're
got away.
definitely saving
Yeah.
her, unless she,
Please, she got away.
disintegrated
Please.
into
No,
paper
she
dust.
she got away.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Okay.
Okay,
The
wait,
one that
wait.
got away.
So, in part of the movie, Thor said that half of the
Yeah.
Asgardians left, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, half of the Asgardians, when Thanos snapped his finger, does that mean
There's a
just
quarter.
a quarter of them left?
Well, maybe. I mean,
Well, it's random.
We
though.
do know random,
So
but
it could be none of them. It could be one of them. It could be all of them because
We
it's
don't know.
totally random.
but I think Valkyrie got away, and I think in Avengers
It's
4 we'll find out. It'll show us how she got away. But we got a sense right away that this guy is not playing around.
Yeah.
He wrecked shop already. He's got the stone. He's ready to kill Thor if Loki doesn't give him what he wants. Then he kills Loki. He destroys the Hulk to the point where we don't even see him for the rest of the movie. He establishes dominance right away.
Yeah.
And I love that because Loki is considered the big bad. He's the best of the villains minus Thanos.
Oh, yeah.
So if he killed him with just like that put us in the mind like, oh my god. Not only a lot of people are gonna die in this movie if like all those, and he killed a lot of people like just in the first 10 minutes. Like that was them establishing Thanos is not playing around.
I really didn't like that. Like, did it have to?
Loved it.
Did it have to watch Loki die so graphically? He's such a great character, and I'm still holding out that we're going to use the time stone and bring him back. But
No, I think we're going to see him again, but I think he's dead.
It's now a good time to bring up the fact that there were two young girls sitting next to me. By
Yes.
young, they were maybe
I was gonna
they were
say.
16, maybe. They were 16 and just losing it the whole movie. I'm talking like audibly crying.
But we were sitting there, and then as soon as we heard the cricket, they were like, "Oh my god!"
And I look over and there's just tears, and
Yeah.
she's like blowing her nose, and she's just like convulsing, and I'm like, well, I'm sad, but damn.
Yeah, there was a
girl.
lady in her late 20s who sat to the right of me, and the whole movie was like whisper screaming, just saying like, "How could they do that? How could they do that?" and like, I didn't want to say anything because it's like internally I was like, "Yeah, I feel you. Like this is pretty horrible. What's happening?"
Actually, that was me.
I thought I recognized you. I knew it.
But
It felt very familiar.
But here's why I think Loki's not coming back, because as soon as he did it, Thanos said no resurrection this time. I think that's them telling us that there's no jokes this time. He's really gone.
No, I just don't want you to be right. I love Loki.
If we see Loki again, it'll probably be in that weird like heaven-like plane that they saw Odin in Ragnarok. So we'll probably get him.
or a baby Gamora.
Or flashbacks,
Type
which I think that's
situation.
what's going to happen. But I love like
Because he does have a 6-movie contract.
Well, but that doesn't necessarily mean it. You can
No,
sign a 6-movie
but,
contract,
you know,
like
may as well use it when you got
like
it.
the
right?
actor who signed up for Quicksilver. He signed a multi-movie contract and he only used it
did.
once.
Well,
So-
that's because no one cares. But everybody loves Loki, so
Well,
you know
we'll
they
see.
might utilize that final movie.
Anyway,
Anyway,
any thoughts on the first 10 minutes?
I feel, I don't think Loki's coming back. There might be different versions of Loki. Like in the comic books, there's like a kid Loki, a girl Loki, all these different types of Lokis.
Oh.
So I don't think if this Loki's still there, I don't think he's going to be alive. It's just going to be a different Loki.
Well, they can use the Enchantress maybe to figure out a way to bring him back, because they haven't introduced her really.
So you're
but
saying if he
I
comes
don't
back,
think so.
it'll be a very low-key appearance.
oh my gosh, you guys!
I'll be here all night, folks.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But we are definitely going to see him in the next one. But I just don't think he's alive. I think it's just going to be flashbacks or them going back in time.
Yeah, I feel from the images you've seen of like the set images from Avengers 4, it seems that they're going back to the attack in New York.
Yeah.
So you'll see Loki in there, but going on forward to present time, I don't think he'll be in there.
No, I don't think so either.
Okay, fine. Whatever, guys. I
Hey,
don't
you're
care.
not the only one. A lot of people love Loki, but at some point he is a bad guy. Even though we like him, he's a bad guy. He got his comeuppance. So,
No one uses that word.
well,
enough.
it's true. He got it. So
Say
I
it
mean,
again.
huh?
Nothing.
Comeuppance. So he got it. Like I mean, I like him too, but I mean, eventually his little trickery had to come to an end at some point.
Well, okay. I will say though that our friend Vision is not gone completely. I know that Shuri had transferred his consciousness or something about him into her supercomputer prior to having to start kicking ass.
I agree.
They cinematically, the way that they shot that scene, like that's definitely what happened. Like he's still salvageable in some way. Maybe not his physical form, but definitely.
He can build him a new body.
Yeah, they can build him a new body. Yeah,
He's back to being Jarvis.
What?
He's back to being Jarvis.
Yeah.
They could go that route, but I think Tony's gonna end up being the new Jarvis, but we'll get to that.
I thought that too, actually.
Yeah. But
for Spider-Man, especially like in his suit.
Yeah, or whoever's gonna be the new Iron Man going
Yeah.
forward. Or woman. They could if they want to do Iron Heart. I don't know.
Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden.
That's a band. But
is that so funny to me?
yeah, I think Vision is gonna come back. How if he comes back in a different body, or I think he's not gonna be the same.
Mm-hmm.
So you might not feel the same about Wanda. Maybe when he comes back, we don't know.
Well, I don't really care.
Wow.
Sorry.
Tell us how you really feel.
I can't be the only one.
You don't
right?
care about Vision and Wanda?
I don't care. I don't.
I've cared about him more in this than any of the other previous movies.
Well, I think they gave him more to do.
Yeah, and they actually gave him like
I mean,
stakes.
He's
like,
basically the MacGuffin for a little bit of it. I mean, 'cause
Oh, yeah.
really, all of their
Yes.
actions that they do are revolved around him and trying to save him and put him aside. So
yeah, that's totally true.
Yeah.
But that said, people give me a little side eye when I say this, but I really don't care about what's happening on Earth. Like, I'm more interested in like the Thor's realm and the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, and like all that galaxy stuff is so fun for me that I don't really care about Wanda and Vision. Sorry.
that's okay.
Well, that's the next path they're planning to take. They're leaving everything behind on Earth and just going to like the space and more mystic with Doctor Strange and stuff.
So different dimensions. Yeah, that's more interesting to me. I'm like sort of done with like Captain America.
Well, James Gunn said that the next Guardians is going to open up the cosmic cinematic universe a lot more. So I think they are going to dive more into that with Captain Marvel, which we'll get to more. So I think we are going to see more space. So after Thanos wreck shop, we go to Earth.
Yeah, we do.
And we see Hulk / Bruce crash into the Sanctum, and we see Doctor Strange and Wong, and then they go to see Tony.
Yeah.
Tony's talking to Pepper about him having a dream that they have a baby.
I will say
Normal
that was probably the worst written scene in the whole movie. Like,
I'll ask you guys.
Yeah.
Do you think she is pregnant? I think yes.
I think yes.
dramatically, she has to be.
Yeah, I think
Because
that.
it's going to make Tony's death in the next movie far more impactful.
Yeah, and also it's a really nice thing, like, leading up to that. I understand what you're saying about the writing, but the thing about the dream, and it's like, you ever had those dreams where, like, you gotta pee and you wake up and you definitely do? It's the way they set it up. I think it's definitely.
Yeah, I think she's super pregnant.
Oh,
she
definitely.
just didn't know.
Super pregnant. Whoa.
Well, I'm sure that kid's gonna be
superhero.
Yeah, he's gonna end up being a superhero.
Iron Baby. Baby.
Imagine that diaper. Oh my God, boy! You don't ever have to take it off.
I mean, a nano diaper. It's self-cleaning.
Yeah. So.
I mean, best dad ever.
Jarvis change the diapers.
And then we get to see Tony talk to Doctor Strange, which I have to admit, their dialogue together is the best in the movie. Like their interactions, both like the whole time they're talking is the best. Yeah. Like
they're both assholes.
I don't work for you.
Like serious
I'll let you die. I don't care. Tony's like, well, I told you to do this. Like I don't work. Like their back and forth was amazing, and I loved it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the banter was really nice and did feel, obviously it feels a little written, but not in a bad way. Like it feels like, oh, this is good writing,
But it was in character.
Yeah, exactly. How they would naturally
There's
no way Doctor Strange is like, I'm almost better than you. What? Like, I'm not gonna listen to you.
Yeah.
So I love that.
All those scenes between the different characters worked for the most part for me. That's just being one example.
Yeah. Then we get to see Spider-Man chilling on the bus. His friend Ned, like, oh, got my spider sense. My hair's, which everybody thought in Homecoming. Why aren't they showing spider sense? Well, now you guys are happy. Yeah. There's a spider sense.
Get happy now.
Told Ned make a distraction. He pops out, goes to help our heroes.
Yeah, it's that the trope of just sort of like the team coming together, which is always fun to see. The suit up. Like everyone's kind of suiting up and getting ready to go.
And along those lines, I think like this kind of speaks to the overall like structure of the movie. But like I think one of the reasons why this works so well is because there was like they go off in different factions and they have a good like mix of people in those different pockets all around.
Yeah,
like,
totally. Some
like,
really unexpected pairings.
Like Rocket Raccoon and Groot with Thor is like I didn't expect the three of them to go off on an adventure together, and it was such a great dynamic because he keeps calling Groot Tree and Rabbit. He's calling Rocket Raccoon a rabbit.
I love that. I love that, and I love that he kind of like, all right, you can call me Rabbit. Yes.
Yeah.
Because normally he would have been like, you don't call me effing Rabbit.
Yeah.
He would have went on a tangent.
Oh, yeah.
He was an angel pirate. Come on.
Yeah, he's an angel pirate. Yes.
Yeah, that was
Stop touching his muscles.
some of the best stuff is with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I just love.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they were great, and James Gunn wrote all of their dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense because it was so in mode.
Exactly.
Because I was wondering that while watching. I'm like, this feels very James Gunn. Like,
And it was for a reason. He wrote all of it.
Yeah.
So,
That
and
works too.
And I love the fact that they allowed him to do that, or the Russo brothers allowed him to do that, because they could have easily said, "No, this is our movie. You give us the Guardians, and we'll have them say what we want them to say."
Yeah.
To have them like, "Oh no, James, you've established them. They're basically your characters.
Yeah.
The movies are the way you envisioned. Have them. You write their dialogue." And like you said, you could totally tell that's exactly the same characters that we saw in both volumes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what do you guys? So now Spider-Man comes in,
We get to see Iron Spider, which is
which we knew
pretty
was
cool.
coming, but it was just
I know.
always great to see.
She needed a napkin.
Yes.
And then we also see like Bruce having trouble with the Hulk.
I hated that. I'm sorry. I hated the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
Bruce Hulk thing.
It just felt forced, and
Yeah.
I didn't care. Yeah, I gotta say.
I can understand why it would happen if you think about it.
No, it makes sense why it
Like
happened,
Hulk
but
has been chilling.
but we didn't need to focus on it felt like forced jokes. Like it was just kind of like this is useless. Like we could have established on right away that Hulk is too afraid to come out. Got it. Okay, good. We're not going to see him. But like there was this constant sort of going back to sort of hit that same beat over and over, which was like I could have done without that.
I guess, but it just goes to the fact that he's really bummed out about it because he's never really lost a fight.
Well,
So
and I know, but I got that from the first time it happened.
I got
and then
you.
I didn't really
And the
see it
second,
again.
and the third.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not like Bruce would just try once and be like, all right, he ain't coming out. No.
Well,
oh,
no,
well.
but there are
Well,
things that
yeah.
happen off screen that we don't necessarily have to see, and we just take for granted that they happened. You know?
True,
that could have been
but
one of those things.
It does go back to the fact that they can't make a Hulk movie without Universal getting involved. So I think we saw more
So
of
that's
that.
one way to take care of it.
No, I think so. We saw the reason why we saw a lot of that is because if there was a Hulk movie, we would see that in the Hulk movie. So I think we got a lot of that in there just to hammer home, like, hey, Hulk is really pissed off that not only did he lose at Thanos, he lost quickly and definitively. He lost.
Well, and also, he's been stuck as Hulk for, years. And he's, living the lap of luxury.
Yeah.
He's getting catered to by Jeff Goldblum.
Who wouldn't want that?
I know, everyone
Honestly.
wants that.
Everyone wants
So all of
that.
a sudden he's thrown back into, a real fight and gets his ass whomped. So yeah, it made sense. I was bored by it after
me
a
too. certain... So in the trailers, you see Hulk fighting with the other Avengers in Wakanda.
Yeah.
Apparently there was, in the earlier cut, there was a part where Bruce was in the Hulkbuster.
Yeah.
And he's getting beat up, and all the aliens and stuff are just piling up on him, and he's having that battle of, oh, Hulk, I need you out, and it goes back and forth, and I guess in that cut, he busts out of the suit and just...
It's weird because it felt like that's what they were going to do, and then they did, and I was like, oh, that was a subversion of expectation.
Yeah,
but,
and if they were going to do that, then they should have cut out the setup for that.
I feel like if they
weren't
were
gonna
I feel like if that were to happen,
that makes more
scene
sense.
Would,
I see now why.
Well, if what Fabian's saying is true, remember, so we saw that in the first trailer of that shot of them all running
That's
to the
true.
camera.
And
so maybe at that time when they had that version of the cut, oh, Hulk's coming out, so let's put Hulk in
Hulk's
that shot.
coming
But then if after you
I had
or didn't he?
Hulk's coming.
But as you go forward and they're like, oh, he's not going to do that, you can't then take Hulk out of that shot because you're like, well, wait, Hulk was there. Why is he not there? We already got enough beef of where was Hawkeye? Where's Hawkeye? Where's Hawkeye? Now we know why no Hawkeye in the trailer.
Wait, people were asking. No one cares.
Everybody was asking. There was even fans that were saying we're making
his family.
put his
I didn't
face.
miss him. I didn't miss him.
I didn't miss him either. But then now you know why he wasn't in the trailer. He's not in the movie. He was under house arrest, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I understand why they had to probably keep him in there, even though they didn't went that way, because it would have looked weird in the trailer. It was like, hey, wasn't Hulk in that shot? No, he's not. So, whatever.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked that.
It's a small thing that I just could have done without, I guess.
Fair enough. We'll agree to disagree with that.
Yeah, but there were so many other great things about that movie that it didn't bother me.
Like a gigantic Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, can we let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the giant dwarf in the room.
Well, let's get there. Let's get there. Well, first, let's talk about Thor meeting the Guardians.
Okay.
Him pretty much just wiping up on their windshield. So they see it just so as the movie starts, someone is sending out the distress call that hey, this ship, we're getting fucked up by Thanos, and the Guardians then answer that call. So they end up there, they see the wreckage, and then Thor just bumps up against their hull.
That's very convenient, by the way.
And they're like, "Well, why is this guy alive?"
Turns out he's a pirate angel.
Yes.
God.
And then Chris Pratt Star-Lord immediately gets threatened right away. Oh my God, he's got muscles, and they think I put on a couple of pounds. That whole first 5 minutes of them meeting was hilarious. Him mocking
that was
him.
Fun.
The accent.
You will not take our pod today, sir.
Why are you talking like that? This is my voice.
Are you lowering your voice? You're doing it again.
Yeah.
He's doing it again.
So that whole part of them establishing that, and then we find out that Gamora has a secret. That she alone knows where the Soul Stone is.
Yeah.
We've all been talking about it. Where is the Soul Stone? Who knows where it is? Where is it? She apparently, Thanos sent her out to try to find it. She found it. She destroyed the map. And now she's the only one who knows where it was.
Now she is the map.
Basically, yeah.
Like Waterworld.
I was thinking about that.
Yes.
Or like in Pirates 4.
No one remembers Pirates 4.
Mr. Gibbs.
I don't.
But okay.
I don't remember what happened in that movie.
Sorry.
They were mermaids.
So like you said, they split up. Thor, Groot, who was playing that video game basically the entire movie, didn't care what else was going on, like a teenager's supposed to. He's own his own little world, not caring about what anything else.
See, that was me watching Civil War. It was just...
Yep. Except it was a box of wine.
Yes,
that was you.
We were at drive-in theater, so we had a picnic with nothing but wine.
Yeah, that's why I don't remember Civil War very well. Anyway, I don't know. I'm glad that they didn't really hang on the Groot thing too much, because I was sort of afraid of that from the trailers. I was afraid that they were going to make that joke so many times of the angsty teenager thing.
Yeah.
I was really afraid that they were going to do that, and I would have gotten annoyed really quickly.
Yeah,
but they didn't. It was really he was just sort of in the background playing his game.
Yeah, they only really made that joke once when we first saw him. Hey,
exactly.
Groot, put that down. He's like, pretty much tell him to F off. You're
Yeah.
Whoa! Yeah.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Oh, so then, after they split up, Thor gets his new eyeball, and we talked about this, and I feel strongly that it's not just a normal eyeball, and that it can do something special. Even if it's not a plot-changing thing, I still think that it's I got this from this random guy. I actually stole it from him. And, they do a close-up on the eye.
Yeah.
And, right? There's a close-up, and then it's okay. I'm thinking that it does something. Maybe it has X-ray vision, or maybe it's heat-seeking.
I just think that now he has two eyes again.
It's such a weird... They spend so much... There's, minutes that they spend on this whole thing about the eye. And it's
Well, because Rocket had to get it from somewhere. He's just going to pull out, there's this random eye I have here, even though it was kind of random anyway.
Were people saying I don't like Thor with the eye patch? Is that a thing people were concerned about? Because I didn't think it was going to be a big deal.
Chris Hemsworth is I'll do this on one condition.
Give me my back.
give me my
I said that too. I don't.
Give me my
I was joking when I said it, but I don't think that was. I just think
maybe it's one of the pieces of 8.
Yeah, they're pirates. There we go.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
See, everything. It's
full circle, Disney circle.
Full Disney. Yeah, they're owned, but it's Disney. Of course, they're gonna drop this.
I just think he just has another. Just give him his eye back.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it does something, even if it's a joke. It could just be a joke. It doesn't have to be, the movie revolves around the eye.
Well, when Valkyrie comes back, maybe she'll make a joke about you have your eye back again. I don't know. I don't know, but I can see them making a joke about it, or I could just see them never mentioning it again. Oh, he got his eye back. Yeah, just let's move on.
Wasn't the glass eye was the color? It wasn't blue. They were
brown.
off. Yeah.
And
It was
also
a brown eye.
It was also in
It came from Rocket Raccoon's ass.
Yeah, and also number one. Here's my prediction. Here's my prediction about the eye. That shit's gonna get infected. Okay.
He's a god.
And
he can't get affected.
He can get he can bleed, so he can definitely get gangrene in his eye socket.
Pink eye?
Just saying.
He's gonna get like worst case of pink eye ever.
Right? Like, I mean, he really should have watched that.
Well,
He's just kind of like, oh, there it
Thor's
is.
not the guy that would wash it. Thor's the guy that's whatever. I don't give a shit.
I don't know. I'm really fixated on this eye thing. It's just such a weird scene to me, and I'm just like, I don't know. You could honestly, if we had seen Thor with an eye, I wouldn't have even questioned it. I'd be like, oh, okay.
I would
have been like, oh, he got his eye back somehow.
Because
He's a god. He got his eye back.
Well,
I wouldn't have even thought about it.
They made it so much of a point of it getting taken out. I guess they had to give a little bit of credence to putting one back in.
What? No.
If he just showed up again and he just magically didn't have that and as an eye again, like what?
Yeah. So
How
the
did he get his
fact
eye
that
back?
so he had to get it from Rocket's ass, like that doesn't. That
Because
also,
then they would have to explain
that
how he
raises
got it back.
questions too.
I mean, they could have done like the Kylo Ren thing where they moved his scar a little bit to the side.
No, she took it out.
Only weirdos like you would notice.
Yeah, I would have noticed too, and it would have bothered me. So I'm glad you did.
They
the way you
could
did.
have just addressed it in one line, like, "Oh yeah, I met this wizard and he gave me my eye back," and then like literally
What?
one line, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to write a whole scene
Where
about
did
how
you
it was
meet
in.
this wizard in the short time when we left Thor Ragnarok?
Where
2
did
right
this
then?
mechanical eye come from that was in Rocket's butt? These
He-
are questions that don't
he
matter.
What from a bat?
It doesn't matter.
He
though.
robbed it from a guy. We haven't seen Rocket for years. In the timeline, it's been
Well,
years.
but they wrote that in though.
No, meaning like the last time we saw Rocket was years. It's been years since.
I know that, but they still had to explain where the eye came from.
Hey.
So,
'Cause
you know.
why would he have just a random eye up his ass and in his pocket?
Exactly.
He stole it from a guy.
But
So
why
what
is it
do
his
you
ass?
Anywho, let's digress.
He stole it from Christopher Walken in
Let's
Pulp Fiction. 'Cause
digress.
He hid that up his butt.
So we see Scarlet
Another
Witch
crossover.
and
Yes.
we see Scarlet Witch and Vision chilling in Scotland trying to make it work. But so if, the way the movie's been setting it up, they've been trying to make it work for years. As Vision's with Tony and War Machine, and Scarlet Witch is with Cap and Black Widow and Falcon. So they try to make it work, and then eventually they get attacked by the children of Thanos. And then we get that nice battle scene, which I liked. And then we get to see Cap for the first time. Which,
Bearded cat.
yeah,
Bearded
bearded Cap.
Oh yeah, that part I did like.
Oh.
That part I liked.
That you liked.
I could care less about Captain America. I just think he's a goody. You know, probably voted for Trump.
No, he would not have. Let's not go political, but he
Okay,
would
off
not
topic.
have.
Sorry.
Off topic.
I gotta back up here though. I don't mean to keep stirring the pot. Nobody else thinks about like, you know, how Wanda and Vision are, you know, getting it on. Like, what does his dick look like?
Oh
Like,
my
am I the
god,
only
why
one
are you
who's-
thinking about
Well,
that?
I can't be the only one, right? Like, he's a robot. Like, someone.
Does his stone glow when he's aroused?
Or does he
I'm not the
phase-
only one who's thought about
Does he
this.
No, I
phase
think
it?
about this shit.
Let's not go there. Anyways, so we kind of see the band get back together a little bit. We see a little bit of action with Tony. Well, not Tony. With Cap and Falcon and Black Widow. It was nice to see them again, even though like you can see like they've been through a lot. We probably won't ever really know exactly what the last 2 years for them were like.
They don't have razors wherever they were.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Tony doesn't have a razor. Which I think the look looks good on him. And I'm glad they didn't use the nomad term, even though that's what he was kind of like, what we thought they were going to do. I'm glad no one ever called him that, because it would just be weird. Or him
Is that a
calling
thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So like when he gives up the mantle the first time, he starts calling himself nomad.
Oh.
And which would have been stupid.
Yeah,
in
that
this
would have
case.
probably just would have confused me.
Yes, it would have
further.
confused a lot of people. And
We
it's,
would have had
it's
another
pointless.
eyeball situation on our hands.
Just because he doesn't have the shield doesn't mean he's not Cap. So let's go. That's then. And then we see them go back home. And then we start figuring out the MacGuffin of Vision is like, well, we got to get the Mind Stone out of him. Even though we don't want to kill him, but we got to protect it. So what are we going to do? So there's that dilemma back and forth of what they're going to do. And then decide, well, let's take it to Wakanda. And let's see if we can make a stand there and get the stone out of Vision's head.
Yeah, which is probably the best idea.
I think so. It was, and then going from any thoughts, guys, about that?
Vision was a little boring for me.
Well,
But I feel like compared to the other movies, this was his most interesting. Because I feel like
that's true. Yeah.
like I feel like out of all of them, he's one of the weaker characters. But he was actually given like a purpose, even if he was the MacGuffin. It was like, oh man, this guy actually has purpose.
Yeah, and they did do a really good job of, I feel like, balancing so many characters, but inherently, there's going to be times where you're like, I wish I could spend a little bit more with this character. I wish they had a little bit more to do. But the movie would have been like 5 to 6 hours long if that was the case.
Hey, I would have loved it, except for having to figure out how am I going to miss things while using the bathroom. I don't want to miss it.
Yeah, and those girls next to me would not have lasted another few hours.
They kept crying.
They were done. That girl,
throughout the entire movie.
That one girl was in the fetal position in her chair by the end of the movie.
Yeah, she literally was.
Yeah,
which was.
I
crazy.
thought she was dead. I was like gonna poke her.
Sorry, that was me too.
That was you too.
Wow,
Say,
you did you use a space stone and travel around? Because I don't know how you were in.
Time stop. Went back.
Yeah.
Watched it.
Oh, okay. Well, you could use a space
It
stone.
gets sadder every time I watch it.
Yeah. So we see Doctor Strange and Tony.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to decide like should you like go on the sidelines? Should we go back to Earth? What are we gonna do? And then Tony decides let's bring the fight to Thanos.
Yeah.
Because they didn't fit. Tony thinks that because they go to Titan, they might have a better chance.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't agree. And plus, you don't want them wrecking shop on Earth.
Yeah.
So let's go to him.
Yeah.
Let's try to see if we can take him out.
Yeah.
Which Tony's very arrogant, so I don't. That's exactly what Tony would want to do.
Yeah. That's a very telling character moment for sure.
Because in Tony's mind, he's like, hey, this guy's been haunting me for 6 years.
Yeah.
Because we saw like in Iron Man 3, he has a PTSD about everything that happened in the Avengers, and I think to a degree that never really went away in my opinion.
No,
that's always been
doesn't.
like, and especially with Scarlet Witch kind of showing the vision of all the Avengers dying. That on top of it just made Tony. It weighed all of his decisions moving forward.
Right.
With that in his head. So it didn't surprise me that he's like, no, let's not be coy about it. Let's go get him.
Mm-hmm.
And it made perfect sense for Tony to have that idea.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really liked the fight scenes on Titan.
Oh, they were great.
fantastic.
I mean,
yeah.
oh man, that was good. And I feel these fight scenes get a little boring at times. How many different ways can you possibly coordinate these fights?
But one of the main differences is that like you really care about the end goal of said fights, like how they come out, like who survives, and like in that fight with Thanos. It was
and just knowing someone's gonna die, like at this point, you don't know who because you're watching the movie and you're like, oh god, like and you're just I don't even know if I breathed the whole movie. I might have not have even blinked. I don't know.
Well, with the fight on Titan, it just likes to see how they use everybody's abilities and powers.
Yeah.
So
I like that Doctor Strange threw butterflies at him.
Well,
That
Thanos
killed
threw
me.
bats at Tony, so it was like, hey, well, what's the opposite of bats? Butterflies.
I don't carry the one. No, I don't. Maybe.
Yeah, but like we just
That
we
tickled
just
me,
saw
though.
like because their approach, their thought process made sense. How they would like teleport Mantis in and try to put him to sleep while they pull the gauntlet off. It basically worked. But if because Star-Lord was such a jackass and
What can
like
you do though?
ate the
right?
bait and like started to get all emotional because it basically worked. Spider-Man was just about to pull it off his hand, and then it all went to
Next
hell.
thing you know, you're getting a moon thrown at you.
Oh, by the way,
Like
I
you
am
do.
so glad that they didn't show that in the trailer. Apparently, they showed that in Hall H, and I'm so glad the first time I saw it was in the theater. The shot of him just crushing the moon,
Yeah. I was like,
throwing at them.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god!
You can't dodge that one.
I hate when that happens.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't ever want a moon thrown at you.
Is that what happened with the Time Machine movie?
Yeah.
Bob
Oh
Pierce,
my
was
gosh.
that Thanos is doing?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Another
Moon's
crossover
breaking
universe there.
up. It just
Like,
keeps
yeah.
happening.
Because
Okay.
Tony was like, you're not gonna throw a moon.
Before
in
we
your
talk a little bit more about the final battle, I want to talk about the whole situation with Gamora.
Oh yeah.
I want to talk about this flashback this was another part of the movie that did not work for me, which we talked about when we see how Thanos comes to Gamora's planet, kills everybody, and then it sort of just takes her under his wing. That felt rushed and forced to me.
It's so random, like why this one child?
That's
I guess.
exactly how I was. And maybe I'm missing. Maybe there are things in the comics that fans know about that they take for granted that I don't know. But that scene was just kind of like,
Well, she's just standing there.
why her? Why what?
Well,
like,
she just kind of asked him, like, "Where's my mom?" And I guess maybe
so that's
no
all.
one
That's
really
all
ever.
it takes to get to the sweet spot.
Well, I guess, but I guess maybe he saw something in her by just her even doing that.
Well,
like not being afraid.
But here's the problem, though, is that we have to guess.
True.
It wasn't clear
True.
to me. Like, I wanted it to be really clear. Like, oh, and that would have been nice because it would have created a stronger bond for me.
Yeah.
And that I would have really liked to see. But so we're just sort of guessing. Like, oh, maybe he just saw something in her. Oh, maybe she was the last kid there. Maybe I don't want all these maybes. Like, I really wish that they would have actually just like figured out what that scene was about. Why he decides to adopt a child, like it was random and it did not work for me.
Because they're separating like people like to kill and people that are gonna serve Thanos. What if she like refused to choose a side and that's why he likes her? But like she just kind of caught in the chaos and just stands there. And
She
takes a liking
didn't
to her.
exhibit literally any sort of character, really.
Yeah.
Like she was just a stereotypical child. Like I wish, like you said, that she would have exhibited some sort of intelligence or some sort of feistiness or anything that Thanos could have seen and been like, that's the one.
But I think that scene is more about him. Is that he saw something?
That's what I'm saying.
And that now we see the connection. So that when the decision he makes later on,
but they didn't forge that connection. I didn't think that scene served that purpose.
Well, no, I think it was. I think that's their only to stronger.
That's
make the
why
bond
they
stronger.
wrote it in there, but it did not work.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, they didn't. They should.
There was a pie in the sky
I
idea where it's like, okay, we need to
Yeah.
write a scene where we see their connection.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like they did a very good job.
Yeah, I feel like a bullet point that they didn't really detail out
enough
in the writing process.
That's one of the drawbacks when you have 65 characters.
Yeah, see, that's sort of what I chalked it up to.
But we all know why it was there. Whether it was executed properly or not, we can debate till the cows come home. But
eventually the big payoff to that still is impactful, even without but imagine what it would have been like had that been a little more.
Yeah, I feel like there was a missed opportunity there.
Like if the scene was like a couple of minutes longer and you saw like her struggling with like, where's my mom, and like showing some fights. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah,
and I agree,
or maybe
I actually agree with both
she could have
but,
done something that really hit home the whole balance thing. Like maybe she could have exhibited some sort of something that proves that she's in alignment with his own ideology.
Yeah.
I guess. It's
totally
sort of
agree.
what
I would have wanted to see her like attack him or something. Just like you guys are saying, just show more emotion and then just lost puppy. Oh, come
Well,
here.
maybe obviously we see them. They meet again, young Gamora and Thanos. Whether or not we're not sure if it's a dimensional thing, if it's the Soul Stone, or what exactly is going on. But maybe we will actually get more of this backstory of their relationship as father-daughter.
I would love to see more
in subsequent movies. Yeah, because I really was wanting that.
Yeah.
I think it's a really interesting, character trait. It's really it's his flaw really that he sort of has these feelings for his daughter, and then ultimately
because he had to pay a price,
Yeah.
which we'll get to. But let's talk about how he got the ether. So they guess right, and he does go to the collector to get that gem. By the time they get there, unbeknownst to us and to them, he's already got it.
Reality Stone's a bitch.
So he used the reality stone to fake the appearance that he's trying to get it.
Yeah.
Just to bait Gamora to actually see what she will do. And she attacks him and she tries to kill him and she actually does kill him.
Yeah.
And do we think the collector's dead? I think he's dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's dead. But then we see.
Wait. Before that,
Yeah.
is Howard the Duck dead?
I don't think so. I think Howard's chilling somewhere else. Howard's safe. Whether they use him again.
Valkyrie.
Did you see the Arrested Development crossover? It's when Tobias, he's in the collectors.
in one of the
you saw this
cells,
too?
Yeah.
Oh,
As the blue. Yeah, the blue man group.
I gotta watch
for his
that.
audition.
I will
He's
watch it
in-
again.
Yeah, he's in one of the collectors,
I did
in
not
the
see
exhibit.
that.
Maybe
Amazing.
maybe Thanos is a Arrested Development fan because that's
Yeah.
his reality. So he made it.
See, there's another crossover for you.
So then once he reveals that he's already have it, Star-Lord shows himself and he's like, oh, you should have went right, but you didn't. And then she's like, well, you got to kill me now because you made that promise and you should kill me. And he struggles.
That was a really powerful moment.
It really was.
It really worked for me.
And Thanos even baiting him like, do it.
And then bubbles.
He does pull the trigger. He was going to do it, but Thanos used the reality sword and just bubbles.
Like, why bubbles? Though?
Hey, because bubbles are cute to look at, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he just takes Gamora and then brings her back to her ship. And then we see that he actually has her sister. I'm trying to remember her name right now. Nebula, thank you. And he's torturing her to get for Gamora to show him exactly where the Soul Stone is. Mm-hmm. Because we now find out that she found it and she told Nebula, hey, don't worry about it. He'll never get all the stones because I'm the only one who knows where the Soul one is. And I'm not going to say anything. So he'll never get them all. I
would have just said, oh, I was lying to my sister when I said that.
Yeah, but then he used the line, oh, you're not good at lying because I didn't teach you how to do it. So that's why you suck at lying.
So he was kind of a good father.
Yeah. Like, I'll teach you how to kill, but I won't teach you how to lie.
Yeah.
That's
draw the line there. Draw the line.
Yeah,
didn't teach her how to lie, torturing her sister. Apples and oranges, really.
It's a complicated home relationship.
So when they go to the planet that the Soul Stone's on, we see an old friend that we haven't seen in a long time.
And this is where I took a pee break, and then I came back, and I'm like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
What did I miss?
So we get to see the Red Skull. So we finally get confirmation that the Tesseract banished him to this planet. And that's where he's been this entire time. He hasn't been dead.
And he looks exactly like Skeletor.
He does.
He looked like Skeletor before. I think worse than.
But this is full robe now.
Yeah,
he looks like he's in Castle Grayskull.
Like you, boob.
Come in, you royal boob.
Yeah. So basically, he tells Thanos that, hey, if you want to get the Soul Stone, you have to pay a price, and the price is a soul for a soul. And Gamora's like, ha ha ha, you're gonna get your comeuppance now. I said that again. You don't love anybody, so you can't sacrifice anybody. You don't love anybody. And then he turns around and he starts crying. Surprise! I love you. Come here.
And this is another one of those moments, like I was saying earlier, where you just expect that someone's gonna swoop in. And save her midair, and then it doesn't happen, and her skull's crushed, and there's blood, green blood, but it's blood. And I was just like, oh my god.
Even M. Night Shyamalan was like, I did not see that coming.
Wow, what a twist!
Maybe he wrote that scene.
Well, I just love the way that they played it, because she's like so confident that like, oh, you don't love anybody. And then when he turned around, he starts crying. He's like, no, those tears are for you, not
that was like the third time, and like this is like maybe the halfway point of the movie. It's like the third time where I actually said to myself, "Oh, they went there." Like, I say that a lot while watching it. Like, oh, they went there.
They did it. Yeah.
Damn.
That was difficult to watch too. I like Gamora.
Yeah, but I think she ended up in the Soul Stone.
Yeah,
Well,
we'll talk about theories once we get through.
We'll get to theories.
Yeah.
All right, so. Now he has the Soul Stone. Now we actually get that fight on Titan.
Butterflies.
Butterflies.
Well, and this is a very important part. I know we're going to talk about theories later, but obviously we see Doctor Strange sort of going forward in time, or at least examining all these different dimensions and realities. And something like 14 million of them.
He's reading
14 million and 5.
So
he's like, no, those don't work either.
So he has seen the exact procedural, the events that lead up to them being able to defeat Thanos, and it's only one out of the 14 million scenarios in which they actually can do it. But he knows what it takes. And by saying it, by revealing that, he messes it up. So
I'm pretty sure there's a version where he did explain something.
And then that goes wrong. So he has to sort of keep it a little close to the chest, which obviously, for dramatic purposes, works.
It's even like, did you guys see the meme where like, he didn't even spoil it either?
So Doctor Strange watched Infinity War 14 million times, and even he didn't spoil it.
Exactly. So don't spoil it for anybody, guys. So, I doubt anyone's gonna see it 14 million times, but please don't spoil it.
So, that's very important because, that's why he saves Tony.
Yes.
Because they had this
Yeah.
pact. Like, hey, look, I'm not going to save you. I don't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
Like, if you get in the way, like, I'm going to let you die.
Yeah.
However, he saw the future and realized that, in fact, he does need to keep Tony alive.
Yeah, and I love the fact that he says, well, Tony's like, well, why'd you save me? Like, we're in the end game now. Like, there's a method to the madness that we're going to have to
Subtitle
go
of the
through.
next one.
Well, we'll get to that
Avengers
too. Oh, God, I hope not. But... like, I think he saw all those things, and even pretty much he saw himself dying.
Oh, sure.
And imagine like seeing yourself dying, and like there's more to the story. Like that must be a weird thing to see.
Yeah, I wonder if you feel it too. Like
I don't know.
how present was he in these? I don't know. Anyway, so that was an important scene.
Oh, absolutely,
for sure.
absolutely.
Can we go back to Peter Dinklage though?
Oh, you're right.
Oh, yeah,
we really
have to
did
go-
spend enough
Peter
time.
Dinklage,
on
yeah. We've been sitting here like,
Which everybody was wondering what his character, like who he was gonna play too.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've made Peter Dinklage bigger.
A
in
bigger
a movie.
dwarf.
Yeah, instead of a small one, which was I love that. That was great.
I'm
Every
sure he
time-
was tickled by that too.
Every
Yeah.
time he was on scene, I was cracking up.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
laughing.
It was-
I will say it's. I can't really call it clever. It was so gimmicky.
yeah.
Like
It
I
worked. I loved
enjoyed-
it. It
No, it
worked.
worked, but like the whole time I was just like, oh, this is so stupid in so many ways. Like, but sure, like I'm gonna roll because I love Peter Dinklage, but like, oh, this is so stupid.
Yeah, it was. So, anyway, so Thor gets a new toy.
Stormbreaker.
Thanks to being able to restart the dying star, and they can forge a new weapon.
Really cool use of Groot too. Like
Yeah, absolutely. Like, where's the
handle?
handle?
Yeah.
Okay, going to that scene. So he picks up the
2 parts.
the 2 parts.
Yeah.
Does that mean he's worthy?
That's a good question.
I wondered that actually they crossed my mind while watching the movie because he kind of lifts it over his head. I was like, oh, I am Groot.
I am Groot.
Well, I mean that's a good question, but maybe their way of getting around that is because it wasn't.
It
fully
wasn't
forged
yeah,
with the
it wasn't,
handle
it wasn't complete,
yet.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
now if he picked it up after that, then we know for sure he's worthy.
Now
But
it's only complete with the handle, so
Yeah.
maybe then it becomes the worthiness thing.
because Stormbreaker was
Plot
originally
holes.
made by and given to Beta Ray Bill because Beta Ray Bill was
Beta
found
Ray Bill.
yes was found worthy of picking up.
It's a
Bill.
Yeah.
It
Deep
sounds like
cut.
sounds like
If you're a Marvel fan, you know what I'm talking
It
about.
sounds like a weird
It's
nickname for your uncle.
horse-looking Thor.
yeah.
It's a what?
Horse-looking Thor.
Yeah.
Thor, like a centaur?
No.
No.
Just a guy with a horse face.
Oh,
If you-
reverse centaur.
He's in
So-
Thor Ragnarok. His face is on the building. Go back and watch it. You guys know his face is on there, so we
Easter
saw
eggs.
him.
Can
We
we
saw him.
instead rename him to
Beta
Thor
Ray?
Jack Horseman?
Oh God, no.
Beta Ray
Um,
Bill. I'm gonna name my firstborn child Beta Ray Bill.
Oh God, I hope not. That'd be weird. So,
That'd be great. Whatever.
so we get Stormbreaker, and then he immediately goes to Wakanda. So they basically figure out, all right, we're gonna make our stand. They're gonna give them time to figure out with Vision. We're gonna make our stand, and the big battle begins. And we see a lot of ass kicking. We see. I love the fact that we saw Cap and Black Panther running like
Yeah.
super fast. In front
I'm
of,
faster.
Yeah.
Caught up to him. Yeah.
If they would have made that
badass,
on your
yeah.
left joke again, I would have loved it. Even though it would have kind of felt out of place, but if they would have been like on your left, I was like, oh, okay. And then so that battle begins, and they're doing okay. But after a while, they start to get overrun. And,
I gotta say, Black Panther didn't really do much in this film.
well, he didn't do a
which
lot.
was a little disappointing.
Tony didn't. Cap didn't do as much as I would have liked him to do.
Yeah.
The women, they had that nice little fight scene which I liked.
Yeah.
And then they
between
got their
Scarlet
butts
Witch
kicked.
and Black Widow. I love that little fight too.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to see more of Cap and more Black Panther. But again, with so many characters, you can only juggle for so long.
And also, that scene had already been shot before Black Panther
Popularity.
came out.
Yeah.
So if Black Panther had come out before they shot that scene, they would have been probably rethought how prominent Black Panther would have been in Avengers.
Well, I mean, we'll get to it. But I think Black Panther's he's gonna get more of a due. So whether it's in Avengers 4 or
well, yeah,
whatever sequel comes out, because
yeah.
he's not dead, you guys.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he's not dead yet.
True.
We'll get there.
He told me.
But this battle does bring us probably like the single most badass moment that actually had me like for the first time in an Avengers movie. Like not clapping is something that's funny, but like when Thor showed up.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah,
that was
Thor showed
one
up.
of the coolest.
Everybody
like,
was like losing their mind.
I lost my mind. I didn't expect myself to lose my mind that hard, but I was like, this was so earned. Like,
And he's like, "Bring me Thanos!"
I really wish they would have dropped some Led Zeppelin at that point. That would have been a really great time.
Well, I mean,
that would have been perfect.
You pulled that. It worked good in Thor Ragnarok.
I would have worked better here. Just
no, that would have worked better there.
And then when
a little levity, you know.
And then when Bucky picks up Rocket and they start spinning like that, that was good. He's like, "How much for the gun?" And he just looks at him and he's like, "How much for the arm?" I'll get that arm.
Yeah.
So
he probably will.
He probably will. I mean,
just collects body parts.
I'm just curious what that arm is gonna do. I think it's gonna do something.
If the arm does something, then the eyeball does something. Okay. End of story.
You had to bring that eyeball back, but I think his arm is gonna do something.
Can Rocket fit the arm up his ass?
Probably. It probably compacts.
Some lube.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, forget it. We'll talk about it in the comments, guys.
So we get the fight. Thanos comes out, and they all can't stop him. And Wanda's like, Vision's like, "All right, Wanda, just do it. Just kill me. We can't let him have it. Just do it.
It's too late. Last resort." Yep.
And she actually does it, which again was I was shocked that she did.
And at that moment,
I thought she was going to get interrupted.
Okay, they did win after all, even though it looked like they weren't going to win. Yay, our heroes win!
And it's funny, like Thanos had this look like,
yeah, like I mean,
glad I got the time stone. Otherwise, this might have been a problem.
Yeah,
but
then just
like, and then he just with no conscience just picks him up and rips it right out, throws his dead body aside. And
that was like the most graphic killing of a computer, I think, since Darren Aronofsky's Pi, where a man literally rips a giant supercomputer up with his bare hands. But that was like, I mean, God,
just like ripped
that
it
was
out.
like the most gory moment of the whole movie.
Well, before we move on, let's talk about like the fight that Thanos had with Tony. Mm-hmm. So Thanos knows who Tony is. But he's like, "You're not the only one, has a lot of knowledge." Mm-hmm. And that fight was like Tony went all out, and then when he got stabbed, I'll be honest, I thought he was gonna die.
Yeah, I thought
that was it.
The audience I saw it in the first time was like,
yeah,
that girl sitting next to you like was bawling again. Yeah, I thought
Fabian
that was it.
Was like, "Oh no,
When Doctor Strange gave it up, I thought he was gonna kill Tony anyway.
Yeah,
I thought he was just gonna go back and was like, "You know what? Kill him anyway." I thought that's where Tony was gonna die, but he kept his word because again Thanos doesn't think he's the villain, so he's like, "Yeah, you guys can do whatever. I don't care. I got what I wanted. I'm out." Yeah, deuces. And then that's when he gets to Wakanda, and then when he gets all the stones, he's doing that like, "Yeah, I've won." And then here comes Thor. Where was he when all that was going on? Who knows? That's a plot hole, but whatever. And he throws Stormbreaker. And they rubbed right into his chest. And we're thinking, "Oh man, Thanos is done." And then even he says, "Well, you probably could have won, but should have went for the head." And snap. That's when we get the famous snap right from the comics. Screen goes white. And then we don't know where he is. So it's like, well, where did he go?
It reminds me of that weird scene from Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2 where he finds like fetus Voldemort.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Harry's in
Lest we forget that.
I tried to
strange scene.
That train station with
like Limbo
Dumbledore
or whatever. Yeah.
So
did you say Legolas?
I said Limbo.
Oh, Limbo. Oh.
So is he in the Soul Stone? That's where I think he is.
In the Soul Stone.
Yes. At that moment.
Yeah.
Well, it seems, and I guess we could talk about this now since we sort of made it to the end. We don't really fully understand the power of all of the stones and what they can do together. And I don't think Thanos really knows either. So I think there's going to be some really unexpected caveats that come with this ultimate power.
Should have read the fine print, Thanos.
I know.
Should have read the manual. Like that gauntlet should have came with a manual. Because I don't think he even knew. Like when we come out of that and we see his arm is all burnt up and the gauntlet is really damaged. Because I don't think he knew how powerful it was, but I don't think he knew how powerful it was. Like that snap took out half the universe in one motion. Yeah. That's a lot of power.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, like we saw with him inside the Soul Stone or whatever it is, like stuff's gonna start happening that he did not anticipate, and it's gonna mess with him. I know it is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. After that scene when he's back to reality, when Thor's like, "Hey, what just happened?" Like you could see like some fear in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Then he just goes
He's
back
like,
to
"I'm
his
outta
little
here."
portal. And
Yeah, and
leaves.
well, you know, I noticed this too in the final shot of the film where he's, you know, sitting on a porch in Georgia, which is where they shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, watching the sunset, and like it wasn't. There was some slight satisfaction there, but I think there was also some like disappointment. Like, this is it. Like this is it. You know.
I disagree. I think he won. He got exactly what he wanted. Now,
But at
would
what
he,
cost?
Would he have? Yeah, exactly. I think it's more or less like I'm not sure I would have wanted to pay what it cost for me to win, but I still won. I'm exactly where I wanted to be. You know, I had to sacrifice all my kids. I had to kill Gamora. I had to do all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I got exactly what I wanted. So I think
I didn't read that from.
I
that
think
moment.
he's a little. I think he's satisfied, but I don't think he liked the way he won.
Well, I think there's maybe that, but also coming into him not fully understanding about this power that he has. Like, you know, he saw young Gamora again, sort of like, what just happened there?
Yeah, like
What's that all about?
Did you
know?
do it? I did.
I did.
What did it cost? Everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, going back with the comic books, Thanos has this relationship with Death.
Yes.
Oh, right.
He kills just to impress
Yeah.
Death, because Death is a woman in the comic books.
I'm kind of glad they left that out, to be
but
honest.
Well, we don't know yet.
Yeah, I feel
We don't know
like
yet.
a lot of people are thinking that Baby Gamora at that scene when he snaps his finger relates to her being Death.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that theory.
Or the theory is that Hela is Death, which I think if they are going to do that Death thing, it's going to be her. And because I don't think she died in Thor Ragnarok. I don't think she died. So I think if he's going to be trying to impress anybody, because that's the thought we got from the first Avengers, to court them is to court Death, and that's why he smiles, because look, yeah, I want to court Death. So if they're ever going to go back to that, I think they're going to use Hela as being Death. I don't think they're going to bring somebody else and have her be Death.
I don't think they'll bring anybody else, but I
it
think
could take the form of many different things,
Yeah.
probably. But maybe. I'm kind of glad they left that out in this one, at least.
Yeah.
I don't.
Because it's more ambiguous this
That
way.
wouldn't have done anything for me, because who does anything just to impress a girl, you know?
Men do a lot of things to impress women.
Oh.
That's half of what we do.
Prove it.
Well, so then as we come back, we start seeing everybody turn to dust. So it starts with Bucky.
All I
And
can
then-
hear is just this girl next to me, like, no!
Yeah.
With everyone.
Yeah.
No!
But which one got the loudest? Spider-Man got the loudest.
Oh, yeah.
Like, followed by Black Panther. Because people like, well, it's one thing, Bucky.
Well, okay.
Black Panther?
Let me tell you, though. This is actually... I really like the movie up until this point. And the more people that just faded away, or blew away, or however you want to say it, disintegrated, the funnier it became for me.
There was someone who started laughing, too, which
I
is
think
weird.
it was me. That was me. Because I'm just like, okay. You know, and it honestly cheapened... We talked about this a little bit. It cheapened what I had just watched, because I know that they're going to be back. Like, there's no way.
I agree with you.
And so it honestly cheapened what I... Like, all the emotional things that I had just gone through... And then I had to watch that, and I was like, "Oh, well, I guess they'll just fix it."
Well, here's why it didn't hit me as hard because of that fact.
Yeah.
But it then answers what price are they gonna have to pay to get them back, and I think that's the ultimate thing, because if you look at it, all the original Avengers are still around. So what price are they gonna have to pay? How are they gonna trick Thanos or do whatever to get everybody else back? That's the ultimate price. This is just a setup.
Yeah.
So some people don't realize it's a setup. They're like, oh my god, all these people are dying. They're not all dead.
No, you're an idiot if you think that they're... No,
Yeah.
they're coming back.
I mean, I can understand, like, it's emotional for people. Like, you've been around these people for... Like, Tony, we've been around him for 10 years.
That's true.
So I can understand the emotion, but I think, like, this is just setting up what they're really going to have to pay. Because I don't think... Like, I still don't think Iron Man and Tony... Sorry, they're the same person. Iron Man and Cap, they're not making it out of here.
Yeah.
So what price, or like, is Tony gonna have to put on that gauntlet?
Well,
Like, there's so many
because
things.
Tony needs to be
Yeah.
alive. We established this.
Yeah.
Because Doctor Strange saw it that way. So
Yeah.
he might have to be alive now so that he can give his life later.
And put that
So
gauntlet
yeah,
on there.
I'm not saying that there will, of course, be more meaningful deaths, but just to end the movie that way, I was kind of like, everything I just felt is like, well.
But serious props to Tom Holland. That was like the best performance of the entire movie when he's disintegrating. Like that was like the first moment I was just like, oh shit.
That was hard to watch.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was very
It
hard
was
to
long to
watch.
watch.
Yeah.
But and I've been reading things online. Like, remember in Homecoming when he's like, dude, you just can't keep doing anything. If you die, that's on me. And then you can see, like, it really affected Tony because, like, this kid is involved because of me.
Yeah.
That's another thing on his plate to add on to all the other bad
Survivor's
decisions
guilt.
that Tony has made.
Guilt.
Is like, this kid now got involved because I got him involved. He's dead now. Like, how would I go? Like, how do you go back to Aunt May and say, you know, if that's probably never gonna happen, but like, oh, he's dead and it's because of me. So like, that's another thing riding on Tony's shoulders, and I think that's why he, for sure, I put money on it. He's not making out of Avengers 4 because I think he's going to pay the whatever cost it's going to have to take. I think it's literally him putting on the gauntlet and his body not being able to handle that kind of power to fix things. To what degree, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But all those people are probably in the Soul Stone, chilling out. And some people have said that it's the other way around. Maybe they're like everybody else is in another dimension, and everybody else that got dusted is safe. No, that doesn't
There's
make
so
any
many
sense. to me.
possibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I said that. I
but
said
that's
that.
weird. That's weird. I don't know if that's.
There's
I don't like that
what's
idea.
frustrating is that
We
there's
made
so
departure jokes while watching the movie.
Yeah.
Actually,
there's
my
so
friend and I
many
were just-
possibilities
Yes,
that
a lot.
it's really frustrating that I don't feel like I can accurately figure out what the hell's gonna happen. All I know is that everybody will be fine.
Well, I don't think everybody.
Well, you know what I mean.
Like everybody who got dusted will come back. To what degree, I don't know. But it does leave room while they are dusted to bring in Ant-Man
Yeah.
and the Wasp and Hawkeye because I think, and someone said this was dark, but I think this would happen. I think Hawkeye's family got dusted.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's because that's the only reason he would come out of retirement.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
he's gonna be a little bit more bitter and darker because his family's gone now. He has nothing. He has nothing else now. So why not go all out? And I think he might not make it out
That makes
either.
sense.
And we'll see.
and Captain
We'll
Marvel.
see Captain Marvel, which brings to the end credit scene where we see Adrian Hill and
Fury.
Nick Fury driving in New York, chilling. And then they're trying to figure out what's going on with Wakanda, and everybody starts getting dusted. And Hill gets dusted. And then I think maybe Nick started to feel it, so he went into his duffel bag and he got a pager from the 90s and and I felt like the first time everyone was kind of leaning forward in their chair as if like he got dusted and was on the floor, figuring out it's sending. Who's the send it to? Who?
No
And then
Wi-Fi.
and then we see the Captain Marvel signal, and I was like, yeah.
What kind of pager is this that just shows you a random symbol? Like, isn't it just like
Colored symbol too.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
it was.
that's
It's
some-
a space
that's some
pager.
fancy-
Space pager.
That's
It's
a
a
fancy,
It's a space pager.
fancy
Okay.
space pager.
Because now we know
Just
Captain
saying.
Marvel's coming, and then we're gonna get in her movie figure out how she got her powers, B, where she went, and C, where she's been. Like, what has she been doing?
Yeah.
Because I want to know that now.
Yeah.
So that's
And
what's
then
gonna happen.
in that end credit sequence, we'll probably get a hint of what's going to happen.
Or
with
maybe her
Avengers
getting the
4.
page.
Exactly.
Yeah. They
Beep,
got
beep.
Marvel. I know you're shooting it right now. Do it that way. Let the end credit scene be her getting the page and her flying off to Earth.
And Kevin Feige's like, you got it, Sean.
I hope so. Or he's like, already did that, Sean. Like, either way, just please make that be the end credit scene or the end of the movie or however you want to do it. So that's how we end the movie, and some people have been crying, and as of this recording, they broke the record that Star Wars did, which we did a Pop on the Street. If you guys haven't been watching a new series we've been doing, we've asked fans their predictions. A lot of them predicted that it would break it, and it did. Not surprising. This movie was highly anticipated. It broke it by $10 million, which says a lot.
Yeah.
So
They built more theaters.
well, yeah, and ticket
No,
prices
like-
are going up. So if you want to put an asterisk on it, you can if you want to. But it is what it is.
This is also the era of Movie Pass.
Yeah, which is going away.
Yeah, their terms have changed.
Yeah, again. So
with snapped like that.
Before
Thanos is behind me.
Before we give a score and wrap it up, what are your theories about maybe what Avengers 4 is going to be called, or things we're going to see? Alex?
I mean, I feel like we touched on it. I think it's going to be Avengers Endgame.
Oh, God, no.
Or
Kevin Feige, don't do that.
Or Avengers, what does Thor's eyeball really do?
Please don't do that either.
Do it. Just for me. I know you're watching. But yeah, I think we kind of touched on, like I said, it's kind of frustrating because I really have no idea, but obviously these stones are so powerful that literally anything could happen. Like, it could be the time stone, it could be something weird with the soul stone, and they're trapped in there, and you have to sacrifice another soul in order to get all the other ones back. Sort of like a Davy Jones thing. Here, pirates again.
Yeah.
One soul does not equal another. So I don't know. I know that we're going to see all of our favorite characters back again. Probably not Loki, sadly. Gamora, dunno. Maybe since she was the one who sacrificed her soul in order for the soul stone to appear, it's possible that if you just destroy that stone, then she'll be alive again. But everybody who got dusted, as you were saying, they'll be back. It's just a matter of figuring out how. And I really am not in the position to make those kind of predictions because I am not as deeply entrenched in the fandom as some of my friends over here. So that's my thought.
Robert, what do you think?
As far as title goes, probably Avengers Gauntlet. Is it the Gauntlet of Power? Is what it's called?
Well, the Infinity Gauntlet.
The Infinity Gauntlet.
But Kevin already said that's not the title. Infinity Gauntlet is not the title.
There's a list of titles that he said it's not going to be.
Well, because everybody thinks because now he has it that it's Infinity Gauntlet.
That would have been my first guess. Well.
He flat out said no.
Infinity War, Infinity Peace, Infinity Everything's Fine Again. Just throwing that out there.
To infinity and beyond.
But if Buzz was going to show up,
I have no idea. Yeah, another crossover. I honestly don't know title wise.
Any predictions? You think?
Predictions? Yeah, I think Tony's vision from Scarlet Witch will come true. Like everyone that died in front of Thanos, like that's what's going to cost to get everything back.
Okay.
Something like that. I don't know. That would be my guess. And then everyone who got dusted will undust. And they'll be wondering where the hell is everybody? Where the hell's Tony? Where's all these people? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's going to be Battleworld.
Battleworld.
Yeah.
That's
is that a Mario level?
Yeah, I'm
kind of leaning towards you a little bit.
Battleworld.
So one of the reasons that makes me think that is going back to the comic books. A few years ago, they had this whole series with Battleworld.
Is that like Waterworld?
Kind of.
Another
But
world.
they
Better.
they battle, though.
But better.
Okay.
Not in water.
So in the scene where you see Red Skull with his hood and stuff, Skeletor, he resembles the character in the comic books where he's wearing a hood too. So I feel like that's the next step, and just having that as a title is a big spoiler itself.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing right now is that they're saying that they don't want to release the title of the fourth one because it's going to be a big spoiler.
Well, I don't get it. Why would Battleworld spoil?
Well, because then it kind of gives away what's going to happen.
Which is
So basically, in Battleworld, like at least this last version of Battleworld, all the multi-universes just like explode and become one whole universe.
Whoa.
So you see all these different like populations of aliens and monsters just living in one place. And in this new world, there's like factions where there's like the Marvel zombies. That would be awesome. If I had that.
The hell
But, like,
are you talking about?
I could go on.
He's nerding and he's explaining things.
But yeah, in short, I think it's going to be Battleworld.
So
Okay, I don't know. That sounds like a lot.
I think what they're going to do is a version of Secret Wars. So I think what Thanos is going to do, because I think he thinks he's pretty much a god among mortals of specs. So what I think he's going to do, because now he has he's the only villain now. I think he's going to use the Reality Stone and the Soul Stone to bring back all the dead villains. and he's going to have them battle to some degree, because right now you just can't have Thanos and nobody else. Like, he can't fight everybody the whole movie. That would just be weird. Or maybe they could. I don't know. I didn't write it.
It's sort of like Mystery Men, where Captain Amazing has to release all of his old villains because he beat everybody and has no one else to fight.
I think they just didn't bring Red Skull back just to be in that one scene.
Yeah.
They're going to get him off that planet. I think that's where Thanos is just going to bring back all the bad guys from all the other movies, have them do out, and maybe make a deal with our heroes, like if you guys win or something. I don't know, but I think something to that degree may happen. Mm-hmm. And I think they might call it Secret War, because if you say Secret War now, your mind goes to a certain place. And I think the title means something. That we know, because if we know what it was, we have an idea, not exact idea, know for sure, but we have an idea where that could go. Mm-hmm. And I think Kevin said he wants to keep the focus right now on Infinity War, mm-hmm. and that's it. Mm-hmm. So then eventually, I'm thinking probably, and this is my prediction, once we see Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think that their end credit scene is either the trailer or the title of Avengers 4. That's what I think. We'll see if that happens. I don't know. I would love it to happen, because that'd be right. But we'll see. But I think that's where we're going to go. Hopefully, we'll see what happens, but I don't know. But I'm excited,
that's
to say the least. But the only thing I'm bummed about is that we got to wait a year. But what are you going to do?
God, give me a break. Game of Thrones
is
come out.
Hey, I know.
I don't even want to hear it from you, sir. Although I did get to see a large Peter Dinklage, so that helped me over.
I thought there was gonna be a dragon flying over his head when he was talking. All right, so final thoughts and a score out of 10.
Out of 10, this one's tricky because you really, it's not a standalone movie. Like, you really have to.
It kind of is.
No, it's not. No. You have to know. No.
Yeah, it is.
I really want to hear.
Absolutely not. Take one random stranger off the street who doesn't know anything about Marvel. Have them watch that movie. They will be confused as fuck.
I don't think so.
Oh my god.
I don't. There's certain things that would go over their head, but I think and here's the reason why I think they wouldn't be confused, because Thanos is the main.
It's not a matter of confusion. It's a matter of just not caring what's going on.
Well,
who are these people?
They might not care as much, but they wouldn't be lost of what's going on.
Whatever. Anyway, I still, my point remains that it's hard to look at this as just one movie, because it's a culmination of 10 years of building characters, building relationships, building worlds. That's what I mean by that. But all in all, I felt like it was a really tight movie. It was actually very clear in their goals and what the end game is. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10 Infinity Stones.
Oh yeah, 10 Infinity. How many Infinity Stones?
I'm actually gonna like. I was genuinely surprised by how much I liked it. I'm gonna actually have to go for a 9.
Wow.
Yeah, I really.
I'm a tough critic, though.
Yeah, no, I usually like most Marvel movies from here are like somewhere around like a 5 to 7 range. Like I think like the first Avengers and Winter Soldier hit like 8 for me. This was like the first one that actually surpassed that, because I felt so much like, and like all I really did was like I saw each of them like at least once, except for Ant-Man, and then I watched a recap like right before going into the theater, like just kind of summed everything up, and yeah, like it's all I needed, and it was just an emotional roller coaster. Which it's just weird. The first time I cared like a lot.
I had that thought while I was watching this. Like, I'm like, oh my god, I care about this.
Yeah.
I was like, I've sat here for 2 years now, or however long I've been doing the channel, telling all you guys like I don't give a shit about Marvel, and then I'm like in the theater and I'm like tearing up, and I'm like,
they got you to tear.
What is this salty discharge?
What is salty discharge? Yes.
Once again, Davy Jones, where he like looks at his tear and he's like, That's what I felt like.
Pirates references. No one cares about pirates.
That's just not true.
They're dumb.
I'm sitting right here.
Fabian, out of 10.
I'll give it a 9 also. I feel like it was great to see the end of what's been 10 years, and just like everything just came together perfectly. What dropped that one point was the whole Hulk scene.
The eyeball thing.
Really? That's you. Let it go.
never gonna let it go.
But-
Wow, a whole point just for the Hulk thing.
Just for the whole.
Really?
Well, there's like a few little things here and there.
Yeah,
that
I
probably
guess,
add
yeah.
up, you know,
The
where it's just
CGI
like-
is
Point,
not
okay,
as good.
0.5
Oh, yeah,
for the
they're
Hulk,
definitely-
and then the rest.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, the way I've been describing this movie is that the whole cinematic universe up to this point has been a long TV series and a season. So episode 1 is Iron Man, and we go all the way up to Black Panther, and then we get this one. So this is like the season finale of the whole show. So from my point of view, if you've never seen any of the episodes, you can watch the season finale, and that can get you to go, oh, I got to go back and watch it from the beginning to see how we got to this point. So I thought that, well, Avengers is my favorite Marvel movie because I didn't think at that time that it would work because we'd never seen it work before or had even attempted before. So I had so much joy watching that I don't know if any other movie can replicate that. So I don't think I'll ever feel like that walking out of a movie again. But I did feel like, oh my God, they stepped up the game even more so. I mean, it went up from Avengers, somewhat higher in the Age of Ultron, and then Civil War, and then Infinity War. And I think it's going to be Secret War. Yes. So I have to say, I think I'm going to have to go with you. It's a 9. It can't be a 9.5 or a 10 because I felt so much joy out of the first Avengers, and because if you haven't seen anything before and you've just seen this, which I'm just sure there's some people have seen, not as many like you don't get a good sense besides Thanos and Thor of anybody else. And I think that's if I want to give it any knock, is that you don't spend a lot of time with anybody else really, because after Thanos and Thor, there's a big drop off, and then if you want to say Tony and then Doctor Strange and everybody else, you don't get a lot of Cap, a lot of Black Panther, Black Widow, like all these characters that we spend a lot of time with. I don't want to say they get shortchanged, but they do have stuff to do, but not as much as they have in the other Avengers movies. So that's why it has to take, for lack of being so big, that loses a little bit for me. Because I love Cap. He's my favorite character. I know he's the big Boy Scout for you. But he didn't do a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
He just didn't.
It's just a necessary evil.
Maybe he's going to do more in Avengers 4. I hope so. But
yeah, I actually feel like the sequel will probably color my perception of Infinity
War.
War.
It might. Just because like in all the ones that have been part 1, part 2, you really can't evaluate it part 1 until you see part 2, even though they're saying that this has a beginning and end. And I feel it does. He won. That's it. For now, he won. Next chapter, we'll see what happens. But for right now, he tried to get the stones. He got them. He did what he wants to do. He won. Open and shut case for me. But we'll see what Avengers 4 comes out if that changes. So
yeah. Oh, I feel all emotional now. I just had to relive.
Yeah, it's nice to get it off my chest. So, like, are you going to see it again?
No.
I want to see it again. Yeah, actually, like.
It's not that I don't want to. I just know that I won't.
Although I can't use my movie pass on it. So.
Yeah, that's true. You've seen it once. I will definitely see it again. I've already seen it twice.
I'll watch it when it comes out on home video, DVD.
Oh, home video. Oh my God, what are the 80s? Home video. Now on home video.
Yeah, I'll
I
pay
have a VCR at home.
Yeah, and all the ones that say it now on home video.
Yeah.
Like all the Disney tapes. I will definitely see it again. I'll see it also again when I own it on Blu-ray. So that's our thoughts, guys. I know that was a long review. If you've been watching the whole time, thank you. And now we're also curious to see what you guys think. Did you love Infinity War? Did the 2.5 hours breeze by? Because I didn't feel like it was 2.5 hours.
No,
2 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh, well, even longer. So
it felt like a solid 2 hours 39. So
that extra minute just didn't,
It's weird. Like it felt its length, but I didn't mind.
No, well,
Like,
that's the thing,
That's the goal.
DC. If you make a good movie, it doesn't matter how long it is. You just we'll sit through it and enjoy it and go back multiple viewings. Sorry, DC, but had to be said. So curious to see what you guys do. Please like, comment, do all those great things, and look forward to some other videos, Avengers wise, in the future. But until then, I'm Sean.
I'm Alex.
I'm Robert.
I'm Fabian.
And thank you for our special guest for joining us on this video. And until next time, assemble!